We'd like to move to hit or miss, high definition buying, which is a really interesting application of some new data that really hasn't been available to us for very long. And I'd like you to join me in welcoming Kimberly Conon from Universal McCann, Dino Mytides from Universal McCann, and Susie Thomas from Universal McCann. Thank you.
Thank you. So I realized I must be doing something right because that was the first time my name was pronounced correctly. Hi, everyone. So in this quick session, we're going to take you through high definition buying and essentially how we use it in the marketplace. We're going to do a quick review of our processes, and I promise it'll be quick. And Susie and Kimberly will take you through some case studies. Right. So first off, let me switch ahead here. First off, what is high definition buying? High definition buying for us is investment with data at the heart of the decisions. But it can't be every piece of data. It has to be the right data. And when we say right data, we mean not just reach and frequency, but we're talking about equity, sales, consumer-centric data. We get there utilizing AMP. AMP is our internal tool, audience measurement platform. It's a data set that matches data from various sources, some of which are ComScore, RentTrack, Experian. We tie that together, and then on top of that, we overlay a consumer survey. So this allows us to understand both behaviorally and attitudinally how consumers are reacting to our TV ads, our mobile ads, and our digital ads. The cases that we're going to take you through today are going to focus on attitudinal data. So why is high definition buying important? And I don't think this is going to be really new for a lot of people here, but every advertiser has challenges with linear television. Even the biggest advertisers, and in this case we're seeing 3 advertisers in 2 distinct categories, and you can see the overlap of consumers. It's very difficult to get unique eyeballs. This problem becomes even more exaggerated for some of the smaller brands that are trying to steal those eyeballs from these advertisers. On top of the overlap, we have the continuing problem of ad avoidance is still in this market. It's still in the marketplace, and it'll remain in the marketplace. A recent research that we did with that IPG Media Lab conducted with Yumi suggests that 60% of commercials are avoided just from looking away, 8% from channel changing, and 3% from ad skipping. High definition buying for us improves our clients' ROI. AMP has opened the door for us, and here's how.
So our first case study is going to take you through a precise reach extension. So in this particular campaign, we had been 100% broadcast. And working with our client, we knew we wanted to reach people that we hadn't reached before, and we wanted to use cable and digital channels to do so. Looking at our target, we found that these were the higher indexing network and digital channels that we wanted to look at. But with AMP, we added an additional layer of data to that, which was brand favorability. So we could go to the cable networks and channels that had medium to low brand favorability against our client's brand and focus on those to try to lift the brand favorability. So in doing so, it narrowed the list down to these cable networks and channels. Overall, when all was said and done, our final analysis showed an overall lift in brand favorability of 13%, which we were very happy with. Our case study number 2 involves audience response to advertising. This was done for the upfronts, for our planning and buying process for the upfronts. We looked at television programming and response to the ads within those programs. So what we did was we have found that 2 of our key performance indicators for this particular client strongly indicated sales or a good predictor of sales. So we used those 2 KPIs to graph out the responses to our results. So in the upper right-hand quadrant, you'll see programs that had very strong lifts against those 2 KPIs, and the programs in the lower left-hand quadrant had very weak, if any, lifts to our KPIs. So we called the upper right-hand quadrant must-buys. When we drilled down into those KPIs and looked at the actual programs that were within them, the bolded ones are the ones that our client had advertised in, and the non-bolded ones were the ones our competitors had advertised in. So we could see where maybe we hadn't been that had worked well for our competitors. So we decided to, ultimately what we did for this upfront was we reallocated $800,000 from a large event type program into the smaller, more niche programs that fell into that must-buy category. And we ended up extending our reach by 5% points, just making that one change.
Thank you, Susie. So in addition to reach extension and competitive conquesting, high-definition buying is taking the post-buy analysis to a whole new level, and we're going to show you how. Take, for example, the AMP index, which constructs as a hybrid evaluation metric. The AMP index leverages existing industry currency, such as buying target reach and composition. It also incorporates KPIs that link each and every placement back to a brand's bespoke measurement framework. With this approach, we're not only unlocking undervalued programming that might otherwise remain untapped, but we're also flagging content that may be effective at delivering eyeballs, but is not so effective at moving the needle on brand health. In this example, we created an AMP index by first weighting each program's performance on the following. We weighted target reach by 50%, target composition by 25%, and a specific brand KPI measure that was linked to the exact same data stack at 25%. And we scored each placement according to these measures in this weighting scheme. We then calculated the AMP index to hone in on each brand's respective strengths and weaknesses. So here are the results, examples excerpted for 2 of our brands. And you'll note that Brand A's full-year TV schedule significantly outperformed Brand B when you look at the full year. However, the results also reveal nuances that may otherwise go unnoticed with traditional post-buy analysis, incorporating that layer of brand health information. When you look at Brand A performing at a 109 and a 102 for the overall year, but dig into the quarterly data, we see that Brand A actually had 2 quite average quarters, and conversely, Brand B actually had a really strong quarter in third quarter of this particular analysis year. So with this type of insight, we're obviously able to identify the exact drivers, which specific programs and networks are contributing to the high and low periods of this performance. And we're actually adjusting our negotiations with media owners based on this information. We're increasing inventory and placements within high-impact programming as illuminated by this AMP index. And likewise, we're reevaluating inclusion of mediocre or average performance that fails to drive quantitative brand value. This is a new level of campaign measurement that allows to define success and negotiate with superior intel. In fact, we believe so strongly in this holistic approach to measurement that not only are we evaluating our schedules, but we're also evaluating ourselves. In some cases, the AMP index is actually creating performance benchmarks that are tied to agency compensation. So to recap this case studies that my colleagues have shared today, by leveraging single source media combined with brand health data, high-definition buying is creating tangible value for our brands. By prioritizing programming and for reach extension, we simultaneously contributed to a plus 13% increase in brand favorability. We restructured a plan to achieve 5 additional reach points by capitalizing on content that was previously owned and working successfully for our competitors. And by including brand health measures and campaign evaluation, we're negotiating more effectively for our clients. On behalf of my colleagues, I want to thank the ARF and all of you for the opportunity to talk a little bit about high-definition buying. We're extremely energized by this philosophy to measurement approach, and we hope that these types of examples can energize and inspire our entire industry to keep brand health at the center of what we do in an increasingly complex media environment. Thank you so much.